Hello, welcome once again to the podcast. I am your host, Angel, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Please stop what you're doing or stop scrolling through social media. Just if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Subscribe. I greatly appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything at all. I'm not gonna be sending you no newsletter, nothing in the mail. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the social media platforms that you could think about. And I am there, my personal accounts and also on my podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. Today's going to be a great episode. I'm very excited because I have a wonderful guest with me today. His name is Steve Feld. And as you can see on the about building that foundation and entrepreneurship. All right. So listen, let's get right into it because I know he has a lot to give, a lot of exciting things. This man is a real entrepreneur, has some great ideas, helping business owners, helping you grow your business, helping you stay away from the entrepreneur depression. You heard that right. Entrepreneur depression. That is a thing, okay, guys? So listen, Biz Coach Steve Feld, all right? MBA is a certified business coach, okay? Arthur, professional speaker. We're not going to be doing any professional stuff here. We're just going to have fun, all right? We'll leave that for another platform. He has a podcast as well. He's a podcast host, okay? His podcast is Biz Coach and Coffee. Listen, you're gonna understand the coffee thing later. All right. Award-winning business management executive and coffee enthusiast. All right. We'll be talking about that. And listen, Steve is passionate about business growth. All right. He's very passionate about that. One of his goals, as he may have many, but one of his goals is to stop business owners from suffering. Like I said, entrepreneur depression. Hello. Hello. Listen carefully. Doing everything themselves and making running their business easier and fun. I mean, come on, let's have fun. You have to have fun. You have to have fun. Enjoy what you do. If not, it's going to be a job. You don't want to do entrepreneurship and mixing it with a job. Okay, guys. So stop the struggle and start getting the results you want in your business. And Steve today is going to help us with that. So welcome to the podcast, Mr. Steve Feld. How are you doing, sir?
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. And man, looking at you have a good from your bio. I love what you do. I love that you're passionate about helping others. That's what this podcast is about as well. I did create this podcast to give professionals like you the platform to teach us, right? The entrepreneurs, whether it's intermediate, advanced, beginning, it doesn't matter. I think we're all here to learn from one another and grow from one another. I'm all about supporting what you do. And I, in return, just like to have that support as well, that we all can share experiences, challenges, and whatnot. So, Steve, thank you again for your time. And to get started, I like to always have my audience just get to know a little bit about your story, your beginnings. What was your childhood like growing up? Who was maybe your your role models? You know, maybe it could be someone in the family, maybe someone outside the family. Maybe it was the sport, music, or something. I don't know. I mean, who is Steve Phil? Who is Steve Phil growing up that later turned into be this great entrepreneur today?
Well, I was that kid at school when you needed to buy something, no matter what it was, I was that guy.
Ah,
So that's how it all started. It started in elementary school. I started selling soda and chips out of my locker, trying to make a few extra bucks, go to the
wow.
movies and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
High school or junior high progressed a little bit more. I lived in the city, so you can
Okay.
imagine.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it at that. And then,
Hmm.
high school, it was announced term papers. Then I got into college, and it was definitely term papers, theses. I also did people's taxes out of my kitchen, and
Wow.
that's it. And then now it's I've owned and operated 7 businesses and turned around 3 others since then.
Exactly. Okay, that's interesting. I funny. I had a couple episodes before. I had a gentleman. I think he was from California. He had the same thing. He would buy chocolates at the store, and then he will sell them in high school
Yeah.
and sell them at another, price and make a profit out of it. I mean, that's how he
Yeah.
began his entrepreneurship sales. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, my parents would buy the stuff in bulk because they owned
Ah,
retail
okay.
stores. So they had,
Okay.
so I had to learn, I started learning like, oh, this is good. Look, I sold it for a quarter. I made a quarter. And then my parents like, no, you didn't. And they'd have their hand
Ah,
out going, cost of goods. I'm
uh-huh.
like,
There
what
you
the hell
go.
is cost of goods? I'm in
Taxes.
elementary school. What the hell is cost of
You're
goods?
right. Pay your taxes. Pay your rent too.
Taxes, what are,
Oh my God. Hey Steve, so to moving forward, so what happened? So after high school, like give us a little bit, what happened after high school? What were your plans? Like you were seeing yourself college, did you go to college, did you study anything like that, or did you just start off your business then?
No, I actually was still, side hustling every which way. I
Okay.
had some good gigs. I traveled around with musical acts, handling all their
Ah,
merchandise. So I was doing that on weekends and nights at venues and then doing everything else during college. But
right.
my whole goal in college is like, I had a goal. It's like I'm going to be a CEO by the time I'm 30. That was the
Mm,
whole goal. And then in college, I started, I don't know if it's waking up that is CEO a good path? And I'm thinking, it's made me think. So I got an accounting degree and a marketing degree. And then I went and got an economics degree. During my economics degree, solidified the whole passion of, you know what? You should not be a CEO because you're a hired person. Yes,
mm,
you can have that. But I'm thinking, why not build the company and be the CEO of your own
own
company?
company.
That's
Ah,
when everything shifted.
shifted.
And I started realizing I'm in college not to be a drone. And that's what they're training you for, to go out in
Of
the
course.
workforce, because
Of
that's what
course.
their job is. And
Yeah.
it was like, I'm going to suck up as much knowledge as I possibly can. I'm going to find business owners and I'm going to find where they're at and I'm going to hang out with them and I'm going to ask them a million questions, which I did. And then after college, it's like an opportunity dropped in my lap. So I got to travel around the world with bands. And
Wow.
meanwhile, I started doing process improvement and change management on the side. And then I did it to the company that hired me. And all of a
Okay.
sudden, that got out. So next thing I know, I'm on my days off on the road consulting venues from all over the world on change management and process improvement.
Okay.
So after a while, I got tired of that, opened up my first company, first official tax paying company.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was actually writing, I went into I got my MBA. I was writing business and marketing and operational plans for tech startups. And my business was blowing up like there was no tomorrow. It was like
Wow.
working 20-hour days, easy, 7 days a week. I had people, I had copywriters, graphic artists. I mean, I had all these people. Well, we all know what happened to the tech bubble. So
I was gonna say this is after the .com. Okay.
yeah, no, so
Okay.
my business went up and it popped just like the rest of the bubble.
Of course.
So overnight, my business was wiped out, gone. And
Wow.
so I did what every entrepreneur would do. I just went in my bedroom, turned off the lights, curled up in a corner and cried. And
Ah, so that's where you help talk about that entrepreneur depression.
yeah,
Okay.
I hit it. I was there. I
Okay.
lived
Of
it.
course.
And 3 days after that, I didn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I was just feeling, bleh. Couldn't do that
Okay.
anything. So I
Oh.
woke up on the fourth day going, I'm going to start a second company. I'm going to help all the companies that are left in the tech sector that have been beaten up. I'm going to be their consultant and get them turned back around and regain what they just lost.
Mm.
And I started going through the old Rolodex. Back then, it was all business cards.
Yeah.
And just started pounding phone and started getting gigs. And next thing you know, that business started taking off.
So
And then
you just cold calling right there.
cold
When you talk
calling,
about Rolodex, just cold calling. Just
just
start
cold call.
calling.
It's like I had all these contacts from like meetings, networking, and I just went right down the line.
And of
Didn't
course,
call a bunch
I'm
of
sure out of
go.
probably out of 5 or 10 calls, probably half of those were
Oh, they
no,
were, most of them were
no.
gone, like
They
disconnected
didn't
numbers
exist.
because
Okay.
they lost everything. But the
Right.
ones that picked up, I'm like, hey, were you hurt during the .com? And they're like, oh my God, we lost 50% of our staff. Thank God we got our VC money early. And I'm like,
Wow.
I can help you turn that all around. And it was
Mm.
like, get in our office now.
Get out of
And
here. Just like
then
that.
that took off. It stalled. And I couldn't figure out why. I hit entrepreneurial depression again,
Ooh, for a second time. Interesting.
second time. And the reason was I got stuck thinking I knew everything. I can do it all myself. I don't need
Mm.
all these people. I had 12 staff members, and we were on our way to bust $1 million in less than a year.
Okay.
And I learned real fast to duplicate yourself. And then I got help to someone to help me, and all of a sudden, it felt like a rocket ship took off under my butt. It was,
Wow.
and then I learned the hardest lesson I ever learned was ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Can't do it alone.
Because I
Okay.
sold the second company.
Interesting. Yeah. Hey, you gotta keep going higher. So what can you suggest for someone who's listening right now says, wait a minute, entrepreneur depression. Okay, I'm going through that. Maybe not at that lower level, right, of depression. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna close myself.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling, right? I'm struggling right now with my business. I don't have the support from friends, family, etc., etc. Um, I'm thinking of getting rid of this business and maybe doing something else. What do you have to suggest for that person right now that's listening?
That's it. You nailed it all, because it could have many levels and look different ways. And
Of course.
it happens to every entrepreneur on the planet. And any entrepreneur that said they didn't think about going out and get a job
Right.
is full of it, because
Okay.
everyone hits it at some point. The thing you got to realize, if you get the support to help, a mentor, an advisor, a coach, someone who's going to listen to you and not judge you and not put you down, because you talked about family and friends support. I teach this all the time. It's critical for an entrepreneur. If you don't have the family support at home, you're going to fail. End of story. I don't care how damn good your idea is, because you're going to have bad days, and you're going to go home to the spouse and talk about it. All your spouse hears is, how are we going to make our mortgage? They didn't hear anything else you said. All they heard is mom, mom, mom.
All right.
So
Mm-hmm.
then they're going to tell you those key words like, I told you this was a bad idea. That now goes into your subconscious. And the next day you try to pick up the phone or talk to people. They hear it. You don't realize you're like a Debbie Downer, and you don't even know it. And then your
Wow.
business starts going the downward spiral. And you
Okay.
got to have the support.
Yeah. So when we talk about building that foundation, what's key to building that foundation in entrepreneurship for you? For what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, when it comes to building a foundation, we saw it in 2020 and 2021. So a lot of businesses were in business for 20, 30, 40 years. And then the pandemic hit and they freaked out. And they were trying to sell their business, thinking this is a good time to exit. They didn't build a business to sell, because they didn't
Mm.
have the foundation in. So the house is built. It's just on a
Right.
shaky foundation. And no one wants a house on a shaky foundation. So when I say get the foundational strategies in, put the processes, the systems, the people, hire smarter than you into your business. Have an end goal, an exit strategy, because how do you know where you're going to take your business if you don't know where it's going to go? And that's what a lot of businesses are out there. They have an income stream and they're happy as a clam, but then one day they want to retire, and then they realize they don't have a business to sell.
Mm.
It's unsellable. But by putting the right processes and systems and foundational principles in, then you say it's time to sell. Everyone's like, I want to buy it. And it happened with the client I had last year. So she retains me and goes, I want to sell. And I'm like, oh, it's usually like a 3 to 5 year process. Let's go right down the checklist. And I pull out my exit strategy checklist, and we're going right down it. And everything was yes, 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 yes. And finally I looked at her. I'm like, how fast you want to sell? And they go, I'm thinking a year. And I go, do you want to do it in 60 days? She's like, no way. I go, here's our plan. So I told her the plan in 10 minutes. Within 1 hour, she goes, I already got 5 appointments set up. Within 1 week,
Mm.
she was getting bids from just the first 5 people to buy her business because it was
Wow.
already primed to sell. So she had all the foundational principles in there. Because if you remove the owner, you got to think of the business. So if we removed her, the business would still be rocking and rolling. She had it all set up.
Right.
She didn't know it at the time. She goes, what do you mean? I've been going to a mastermind group for 25 years.
Wow.
She learned something and she
Right.
implemented it all in her business. And she had a killer business doing signs.
Wow. That's amazing. But have you experienced where maybe someone is fearful of selling
Oh, God, yeah.
that business, and they're like, oh, and then there's I mean, I think they
Oh,
become so attached to it, right?
oh, fear will set in. I guarantee I've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, on my second business, I said I sold it. Well, I was just meeting with a bigger competition in a different state. They did different things, but they wanted my name and they wanted what my company did, and they wanted to build another division in their company. And
Okay.
so I knew they've been wanting my name and my URLs and everything else for years. They flew out and we had dinner together, and they did that classic, mafia kind of thing. They took an envelope out of his pocket and he slid it across the table. And
Oh,
he goes, oh,
make them an offer
and I
can't
open it
refuse.
and it was an offer. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, there's some zeros on here.
Oh, wow.
There's
An offer
commas
they
and
can't
zeros. I
refuse.
like this.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And
So,
I
Steve,
liked it.
what
And they pulled out a contract and we did it.
boom. That's awesome. So what can people expect when they go to this website, feldbusinessgrowth.com? Because I'm looking at it right now, and you talk about you have 45-minute business breakthroughs. You have ways to, I guess, write the book and whatnot. So, what can someone expect to go on your website and maybe do a coaching session or what?
Yeah, I have I have 2 websites. That's one of them. And I have a business academy as well. So it's an automated program for a lot of business owners. So it has tools, resources that they need. It's great for startups, smaller companies, phenomenal.
Right.
And that's what you had. And then this one that you have up there, the Biz Coach Steve, that's my primary site. But I have a book, 45-minute business
Okay.
breakthrough, goes through 8 simple strategies
Okay.
that any business owner can use right away without spending another penny on marketing or advertising, and it'll grow your business. And it's not fluff, fluff, fluff. It's content, action step, action step, action step.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a blueprint. It gives you
It is
everything
a
there.
blueprint. And it's only 8
Okay.
strategies, and I have hundreds and hundreds. I just put 8 in one book.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I could imagine. If not, you're gonna take the whole website there, the whole
Oh my
page
God.
talking about that.
Look
So
like the
I
old
see
encyclopedia.
exactly right. Yeah, the encyclopedias. So listen, because I see so many interesting things on your website. It's awesome, but have your own book written in 30 days. Explain that. It's like if someone is interested in writing a book in 30 days, how is that even possible?
Yeah. So I have a partner. I co-own a publishing house with someone, and we're creating expert books. So you're not going to write the next great American novel. Get that out of your head. You're not writing War and Peace.
Okay.
That's not what we do. But it's for people who have to go
Okay.
out and, I say, hunt and kill their own food. So, coaches, consultants, speakers, insurance, realtors, and we have a process set up. So it takes them about 2 hours of their time for a whole month. We do all the rest, but we can get enough content out of them and
Exactly.
put it in a book. So it's an expert book. It's your calling card. And we did it for an insurance person just as a test. And the guy is brand new to insurance, commercial insurance. We created his book. He used it on his first going out to getting a bid, left his book with the owner. The owner called him up
Okay.
Monday, you have the account. And he's like, great. And he was the least experienced out of everyone. The company did not have the cheapest. It did not have the best product. He goes, what happened? He goes, well, I read your book when I was going to the restroom because it's that fast of a read, 10, 15 minutes. He goes, I got to know you really well and how we're going to work
Right.
together through that dang book. And I want to work with you. That was it. And he ordered,
Wow.
I mean, he got 100 copies with his, it was the whole deal. And his business, he went from starting off with no knowledge in the industry to being one of the top salespeople in his company, all over a book.
Here. Wow, man, that's awesome. Oh, a 15-minute book. Those are the best books. Those little
Yeah, it's
manual
only
ones, the little
50 to 80
short and get
pages.
to the
It's an
point.
easy read. It's about you and how you work with your clients.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine is, I even put in things like what you should ask for when you're hiring a business coach. So it might not be me, but ask the questions.
Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about your podcast too, because you have a podcast. It's called Biz Coach and Coffee Podcast. So how did you come up with this thing about coffee? You have your own coffee as well. No,
Yeah.
you're just all over the place, Steve. For me, I mean, you got your coffee, you got your podcast. I thought I had a lot of thing going on, man. So talk to me about your podcast first of all. What is the podcast about?
Yeah. On all that, you said, I do the Amazon theory. Do one thing at a time, get it up and running, then move to the next one thing. Don't do it all at
Okay,
once.
okay.
Business
I
owners,
don't want.
entrepreneurs, we try to do 10 things at once. Don't do that. Do this many things, income first,
That's
then bring on the second thing. So the podcast started, I
perfect.
was a
Love
guest
that.
for years and decided to launch a podcast. So I have experts on there sharing some tips and strategies, tactics to the listeners to help them grow their business. So it could
Okay.
be things like I had someone on about copywriting because I talk to a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs. And they're like, I understand that you need copywriting. I really don't understand why I need it. And it's like, well, you don't realize how critical that is. And it could be killing everything you're doing. You just don't even
Ooh.
know. So
Okay.
it's sharing experts, sharing their knowledge with the entrepreneurs and business
Yeah.
owners.
That's that's awesome. Very similar to what I do here. Just sharing their stories, what they do,
That's
and
it.
give them that platform. That's awesome. So, talking about the coffee, I know you're a coffee enthusiast.
Oh yeah.
How much coffee do you drink in a day? I know.
Not
Actually,
enough.
got me a little iced coffee. Not enough. I got my little
That's
iced
always my
coffee here to join
answer.
you. So cheers.
So,
Yeah, I see
I,
your Facebook. You said not enough.
yeah.
What's the name of that coffee there?
So it's Biz Coach and Coffee called Business Blend. Your business should
Hmm.
be buzzing, not boring.
Okay, nice. Where's that coffee available?
I actually have I have a landing page for it as well.
Okay, all right. You can send me that as well. I'll have it down in the description below
Yeah.
so that in the YouTube channel they could follow that as well.
And you know how people give away books and pens when they do speaking engagements or client
Yeah.
appreciation? I'm like, I've been posting coffee memes for 6 years, every single day.
Uh,
Just something fun, something different, and it's caught on. And it caught on years and years ago. And I thought, giving away a bag of coffee, no, everyone will remember that. Giving someone a pen and paper
oh,
set in my book,
oh man.
no one will remember that.
No, no. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Especially in the Latin community. I'm from Puerto Rico and my wife is from Colombia. So we have our coffee
Oh,
maker 6 o'clock in the morning automatically turns on. That's our
mm.
alarm. It wakes us up. That smells like, okay, I already know 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's go.
So you're talking about the
Yeah.
land of some really good coffee.
Oh yes. Yes. That Colombian coffee is, oh my God,
Oh,
it's amazing. And Steve, man, everything that you brought, I think you've brought more than enough, man. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here and with wanting more. So I'm gonna have all your available contacts as far as your website, whatnot. So I'm gonna invite everyone and do a follow up to contact you more. And if they want to hear more about you and what you do, Matt. All right. And so if you ever want to contact him, I'm going to have all the links below. If you ever want to invite him to a speaking conference, make sure you have coffee because he's going to be there,
Hey,
not just for the coffee, but he'll bring his own
yeah,
coffee as well.
I
So,
promise
Steve,
I
man,
would give
listen,
you
man, I
everything I got.
exactly. I know you did here, man. I know you gave us a lot. It was short and brief. I like to have it like that because I want to leave people for to get in contact with you and whatnot. So thank you, Steve, man. I appreciate your time, and I hope you had a great time because I know I did. I enjoyed everything that you brought to the table.
Thanks for having me, man. I
All
appreciate
right,
it. Wish everyone the
no
best
problem,
in their
Steve.
business.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So you take care of yourself, and I'll keep in contact. All right.
You got it. Have a good day.
All right, you too, Steve. Thank you. All right, folks. So there you have it, man. Steve Feld. Look him up. He's also available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the platforms. I know he's out there. So I'm gonna have his links, his websites on the description below, and you go ahead and follow him. Okay. So please, like I said at the beginning, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I appreciate it. If you want to follow me as well under Angel Santos and on Twitter under Angel Santos 75. Also, if you're interested in the download link, it'll be available shortly after this recording concludes. Okay, it's available on the Anchor podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Listen to your music and you listen to your podcast as well. Look up the Young Entrepreneur Mindset podcast, and it's available there. Go ahead and download there, listen to it, and leave me a review. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. So thank you again for tuning in. And before I leave, I do want to leave you with a scripture. Of course, it's the holiday Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for so many things in my life, for my family, friends, for all of the supporters here as well. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with 1 Chronicles 16:8, and it says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the peoples." So there you have it. Enjoy your holidays. Don't eat too much turkey, and give thanks always. Blessings, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. Thank you again. God bless. Take care. Be safe.